Hello, trading is closed on the 7th of July, 2021. Our disclaimer always comes first. This is my efforts to predict what will happen tomorrow. I can be completely wrong, and all trades should be at your own risk. Had a few calls for today. We had a lower target, 43.2640. We said unless we gapped up smartly, it should print. We gapped up smartly. The target's still on the table, but the time was taken off the table. Look for the pattern with the early high. This is it. The high's right on time, lows right on time, counter trend rallies right on time. I know some people will look at this pattern, call it an early low with a late high. If this were the only day one was looking at, I couldn't really argue. But I use a 32 calendar day cycle to predict what will happen. And based on the cycle, I'm calling this the pattern with the early high, and that means tomorrow should also have the early high. We said that pattern's normally negative, but if there's early strength, tables are turned. That's early strength, but remember, what counts isn't today's close, it's tomorrow's open. And if we open way down here tomorrow, all this positivity goes away. A few words of caution, we do have a lower target from today's trade, 43.5116. If we don't gap up smartly, it's favored to print. We also rallied all day and closed under the midday high. That's not good. Again, it's tomorrow's open that counts, not today's close. If we open here, that doesn't mean a thing. There have been a number of failed targets on this rally. Such a thing happens in general once or twice every year. In the past, the numbers which didn't print in their preferred time eventually did print. That doesn't mean they have to print right this minute. During the day, MEJT said this rally's false, gives a target for tomorrow, 43.5116. If we don't gap up smartly, that's my call for tomorrow. Nothing says we can't gap up smartly, because if we do gap up smartly, that's pretty bullish action. If we don't gap up smartly, all that bullishness is killed. Well, tomorrow's pattern, we have mixed signals. Should be the one with the early high. It's positive. Today's normally bearish pattern rallied instead. The price that counted, of course, isn't today's close. It's tomorrow's open. So if we gap down, all the bullishness is killed. A lot of bearish things. We have a lower MEJT target. Unless we gap up smartly, it should print. Couldn't close over the midday high. Breadth deteriorated. Fewer stocks of positive patterns. Even though we hit a new high, and even though we hit a new high, decliners outnumbered advancers. None of this stuff is good. Eventually, the chickens come home to roost. But if we do continue higher tomorrow, there's nothing requiring this to pay off immediately. There have been a number of failed targets in the past couple of weeks. Such an event happens about once or twice a year. In the past, the targets eventually printed. Doesn't mean they have to print without going higher first. So tomorrow has the early high. Signals are mixed. Commonest thing is a gap and prompt move outside the day's range. If we close little change, the big move should happen on Friday. And that's today's call.